Hello, I'm Karen Butler, an account executive at Opus 2, and we're here today to delve into the fascinating world of case chronologies and to discover how technology, such as Opus 2 cases, can streamline your preparation process. We've had an overwhelming response to this webinar, and we're really thrilled to have attendees registered from across the UK, Europe, Australia, the United States, and Asia for the webinar. So welcome everyone, and let's get started. Joining me today are Nadia and Ariane, both subject matter experts at Opus 2. Nadia, could you please introduce yourself first and then followed by Ariane?
Thanks, Karen. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Nadia Nicolaou. I worked in private practice for many years, specializing in litigation arbitration. I worked at Cook, Young & Kidden, a boutique litigation arbitration law firm in London, and joined Opus 2 as a subject matter expert almost 3 years ago.
Thanks, Nadia. Thanks, Karen. And hi, everyone. I'm Ariane Tadion. I'm also a subject matter expert here at Opus 2. I've been here for almost a year and a half. And in terms of my background, I also have experience working in private practice as a commercial litigation solicitor. And I spent almost 6 years working as a legal editor for Practical Law's dispute resolution team.
Thanks both. So today we're addressing a pressing issue for disputes lawyers, case chronologies. So after polling participants from the first webinar in this series, where we focused on streamlining e-bundling processes, case chronologies emerged as the top priority. So drawing from their own experience, Nadia and Ariane will delve into this topic and explore how technology can streamline the process and enhance efficiency. If you've got any questions, please use the Q&A function. We'll aim to answer these at the end of today's session. So for those of you who might be new to Opus 2, I'm just briefly going to introduce who we are. So we've been providing cutting-edge technology and services to the world's leading litigation and arbitration teams for over 15 years. Our hearing solutions widely acknowledged as the industry's most trusted for streamlining dispute resolution proceedings. And now our Opus 2 cases solution, which we'll be diving into today as we tackle the challenge of chronologies, stands out as the best-in-class legal case management software. It's designed to empower dispute professionals to craft the most compelling legal arguments and strategies. So before we delve into the details, let's just take a moment to discuss why a case chronology holds such significance. Then we'll introduce you to our chronology tool within Opus 2 cases. So Ariane, over to you.
Thanks. So yes, Opus 2 Cases is a solution designed specifically for litigation and arbitration lawyers to use from the outset of their case. And it includes various features, including what we're going to show you today, a tool called Chronology. So in a nutshell, our Chronology tool allows you to streamline the process of creating your timeline of events leading up to the dispute by enabling you to easily identify patterns, analyze and organize key facts and events, and connect those to the underlying documentary evidence and people in the case. And as you said, Karen, we know that simplifying the preparation of a case chronology is essential for any litigation and arbitration team.
Yeah, quite right, Ariane. So today we'll explore some typical challenges that both yourself and Nadia encountered in your legal practice when tackling case chronologies, and how the chronology tool in Opus 2 cases can help address these issues. So Nadia, drawing on your prior experience in private practice, can you share your insights into the primary pain points you faced during the case chronology preparation process? And am I right in my understanding that litigation lawyers prepare a chronology for all cases?
Yes, Karen, that's exactly right. I prepare a chronology for every single case I worked on, and that is universally true for all cases and all litigators. The traditional approach of preparing case chronology was, and still mostly seems to be, to use Word or Excel. So back in the day, as I was reviewing documents, I would add more and more events to my chronology and highlight the relevant extract in the document or the relevant note from a client meeting, and have a column in my Word or Excel document where I would copy and paste the extract or the note. This was very manual and time-consuming, and adding links to the relevant document was very painful and never really worked, to be honest. The chronology was simply separated and disconnected from my work product and the evidence that it drew together. I would sometimes have another column for the relevant people to each of the events and kept adding them as I would need that later on. But to be honest, most of the time, key players in the case were added to yet another disconnected document. Since case chronology preparation is challenging, yet every litigation team uses it, choosing the right the right technology to assist, I think, is key. First of all, you do not always use the relevant software at the start of the case. So when you do start using one, potentially midway through, you need a platform that allows you to use the chronology already created rather than starting from scratch. Let me show you how our clients use Opus 2 case chronology to streamline chronology creation and avoid using Word or Excel. Let me share the screen. 1 second. Hopefully I'm sharing the right screen. Okay. A brief orientation before we start. So what you see now is the documents page. This is where all your key documents would live, and you are able to preview them on the right-hand side. And today we're talking about our chronology tool, where you have all your events in your case timeline, and you can see the details on the right-hand side. So when our clients have already started their chronology in Excel, they can simply import it here. So they do not have to start from scratch. So it's a simple import. Now, in terms of the right technology, you also want a tool that is flexible. And most importantly, you want software that enables legal teams to visualize, manage key events, the evidence and facts in chronological order. In Opus 2 Chronology, you have flexibility to configure the chronology tool to your needs and add as many fields as you need. So for example, here you can see I have many fields. I can add more. I can have a status field, tags, my issues, agreement status, etc. You can even use color coding. Let me show you, for example, here I might want my agreed events to be green and my not agreed events to be red. So I can add color coding. So our clients have that flexibility. Now, let me show you how easy it is to create an event and to manage your chronology, which I think is essential. So you can create an event from your chronology tool with a simple click of a button. So you can simply add your event here. Most importantly, you can also add a chronology event from your document. So whilst you're reviewing your document, you can add that to your chronology. You can add one or bulk add more than one. And you can simply add them to your chronology. You can add all the documents to the same record or create one record per document or create new records for each one. And in your chronology tool, the date initializes with the date of the document and the event summary initializes from the description of the document. But of course, you can change that. In terms of each event, you can see all the details either in table view or here on the right-hand side, and you can change it as well through here. And you can also see all the documents that are linked to this event. So here, for example, I can see that this email has been linked. You can preview that document. And if this document links to other documents or other documents refer to this, you can see it all here. So this witness interview mentions this email of 1st of September, and you can, of course, see it here. Putting key facts and events in chronological order helped me emphasize key events and key time periods, and also emphasize the disputed facts and the facts that needed further corroboration. If I had the right technology then, it would have saved me a lot of time and trouble.
Thanks very much, Nadia. So let me just reshare my screen. Just looking back at some of these challenges again. So Ariane, earlier you highlighted the versatility of chronologies for various tasks within the case. Can you elaborate on how you would have handled preparing chronologies for these diverse purposes during your time in private practice?
Yeah, sure. So invariably, I would have had a few versions of the chronology floating around, depending on the task at hand. Generally speaking, we would have a master chronology, often in an Excel spreadsheet, which we would create and update for internal purposes. And of course, it was static. So some of the challenges that Nadia mentioned really resonate with me. A lot of the information in the chronology had to be duplicated in different documents, potentially in different formats for different purposes. So for example, in our case in England and Wales, to accompany instructions to counsel, or for a mediation position statement. And this was quite cumbersome and time consuming. There was also always a risk and a fear that something would be missed when manually moving information across from the master chronology. And with different versions of the chronology floating around for different purposes, this sometimes caused huge issues in relation to version control. So in my experience, when looking for a technology to help you with preparing your chronology, you should think about how easy it is to manage different versions by extracting information from the master without having to worry about duplicating the chronology in different places. So let me show you how with Opus 2 cases, you can slice and dice your master chronology. So hopefully you can all see my screen.
Yeah.
Great. So this is the table view of my chronology, and you can currently see all of these column fields. But let's say I'm getting ready to export out this chronology to an external stakeholder. I may not want to share everything here. So for example, I may not want to share the tags. So what I can do is I can just go into the column icon and take that off, and then I can export my chronology out in this view. I'm just going to add this back in. Because what I want to show you now is I can also filter out the information just to show you a different way to kind of slice and dice, as I mentioned. So for example, I can filter out by date range or by character. So say, for example, I'm focusing on a particular witness and I want to see all of the events relating to them, for example, Tom Kemming. I can then use this version of the chronology to help me prepare my witness interview. I can also create specific tags and then filter out by those. So for example, here I've got some tags, substantiated and unsubstantiated. And you can see that with the unsubstantiated ones, I don't have any documents linked to those. So I need to get more information about those. What I can do quickly here is just filter out by tag, unsubstantiated, and then I'll get all of those events that I can then go and speak to my client about to get more information from them. I can also sort the events. So for example, by status, you can see that I have some that are in draft. So if I just click here, I can get all of the draft events and then I can continue working on those. And then when it comes to sharing the chronology itself with the witnesses or with the other side, as we would do in England and Wales, I can just export it out as a spreadsheet or out as a Word document. And I can do that very easily just in a matter of clicks.
Great, thanks very much there, Ariane. So Nadia, you previously touched upon your efforts to link chronology events to relevant files and documents during your time in practice. Can you elaborate on the methods you used and whether they proved efficient? And you also mentioned the challenge of keeping track of key individuals and associated notes within the chronology. How did you manage these complexities, particularly in those more intricate cases?
Yes, Karen. So in the simplest of cases, a simple organized list can work. But when have we ever had such a simple case, right, Ariane?
Exactly.
What I remember is scattered information, scattered documents, notes, facts, tags, and having to look into various places to find what I needed. You really need to be able to organize all the fragmented data, the documents you reviewed, the notes you've made, the key people involved, etc. And it can be very overwhelming otherwise. The challenge becomes even greater when you are working on multiple cases at the same time. So in my opinion, you need a central place to have all of these together, as this is what helps you navigate the intricacies of the case. Let me show you how our clients use Opus 2 Chronology to manage their chronologies. Let me share the screen. Okay. So I've already shown you how easy it is to link documents to events and preview all those documents and other related ones. So from an event, whilst I'm reviewing my events, it's very easy to link documents or a file. So from here, I simply come in here and I can add any documents that are relevant to this event. I think that easily connecting events to underlying evidence is key for any software assisting you with case chronologies. You can also link an event to the key people. So I'm looking at this event and I found out that there's another person that is involved. Again, I can add that person in. So you have the ability to easily link your events to the people or entities involved. Opus to characters, another tool here, is a tool where you can record all the details around the key players. You can assign them roles, you can add any other details, and importantly, you can see for each person or entity all the events that are linked to them. So you can see all the events that are linked to Tom Kemming here. You can basically have their own personal chronology. In the chronology, you also have the ability to link important extract of documents to an event and also view those notes that you've made. So in this event, if I go to my notes, I can see all the notes that I've done. I can preview them. So this is the note that I've made on this gym person, and I can see what node I've added. And it is very easy to add notes whilst you're reviewing a document. So let's say I was reviewing this email and I want to create another note and link it to an event. It's very easy. I can add my note here and I can add the chronology event and it will be immediately synced. And I can also, as Ariane mentioned, tag my events, which I think is very useful. What would have helped me in practice is the ability to view all these links and connections in one central place. We call this internally the 360 view. So for each of my events, I can see the details about the event, the documents that are relevant to this event, the people that are involved or the entities, and any notes that I've made. And organizing your chronology in such a way reduces the clutter and helps you understand the case better. And there's technology that can help you. You need a chronology tool that helps you visualize the case timeline and allows you to anticipate arguments from the other side and also support the development of your case strategy, as it can help support you identifying patterns and trends. And this can open new avenues for investigation.
Thanks, Nadia. So what we've focused on so far is the traditional table view of the chronology. However, we've been receiving growing feedback from law firms expressing a need for lawyers to be able to visualize the chronology. Ariane, could you delve into how visual representations can benefit litigation and arbitration teams?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Karen. So visual representations of the chronology, such as in a timeline view, can be powerful tools for communicating complex information in a simple way to various stakeholders. They can also help to identify potential gaps in information within a specific time period. So, for example, if there's a period of time that I can quickly see has no events associated with it, but I think might be relevant, I can ask my client for more information to confirm that nothing relevant happened then within that time frame, or they can provide me with the additional information needed. When I was in practice, if I wanted to create different visual views of my chronology, I would have had to do this manually, and it was so time consuming that often we avoided presenting the information in any other way than a table. So in Opus 2 cases, our customers can view the case chronology in different ways, and I'm going to show you that now. So here we have the default table view that you've seen so far. And as we showed, we can filter out information from this view in different ways. But the display icon allows me to view the chronology in different formats. So for example, here we have a calendar view. So for example, I'm focusing on a specific time period in November 2020, and I can see all of the relevant events there. I can click into them and see them in more detail, as Nadia showed us earlier. I can also view it in, for example, a card view. So if I want to quickly see the agreement status of events, which is important particularly in litigation in England and Wales, because we have to share that with the court ultimately. And I can also visualize this information in a timeline view. For example, if I want to show a specific time period that I then want to share with my client to discuss further information that I need from them, and I can extend the timeline view if I need to. I can then export that into a PowerPoint format. So if I want, for example, if I have an upcoming meeting, for example, with my client and counsel, and we want to discuss the factual matrix of the case, I can present it to them in PowerPoint with all of the editing capabilities of Microsoft at my fingertips.
Thanks, Ariane. So, and thanks for your insights and for showcasing how technology can streamline the process. Could you briefly outline the efficiencies that can be gained by leveraging a technology such as Opus 2 cases for case chronology preparation?
Yeah, of course. So clearly, using a technology like Opus 2 cases eliminates the need for preparing static chronologies in Word and Excel, allowing you to create comprehensive, interactive, and visual timelines of your case in different ways. And importantly, having all team members working on the case chronology in one place reduces the burdens of version control and the risk of duplication, and really can foster best practice. And in addition, we know that cases can drag on sometimes. Team members are likely to change, and if you don't have a central space to collaborate on your chronology, you could risk losing important information, whereas with Opus 2 cases, all important insights are in one place in the chronology. Using the right technology for the preparation of your chronology clearly helps to reduce the administrative burden of doing so, and allows lawyers to focus on more value-add tasks. And I think that you need a technology that is more than just a point solution to take full advantage of the efficiencies gained. Point solutions might solve one specific problem, but create others by being siloed and disconnected from the rest of your work products involved in preparing a case.
Yes, thanks, Ariane, and quite right. So Opus 2 cases offers far more than just case chronology preparation. It's a comprehensive cloud-based solution, which is designed to support the entire dispute lifecycle right from inception. So that's right from conducting document reviews, annotating them, crafting your case chronology, assembling your cast of characters, and even e-bundling. So nearly every task involved in litigation or arbitration can be efficiently managed within Opus 2 cases. And centralizing all this information and connections in one platform that facilitates that thorough case analysis through what we term that 360-degree view of chronology events, characters, notes, and documents. So while we don't have the time to delve deeper into all of this today, anyone that's interested in learning more can reach out to us after the webinar to arrange a follow-up demonstration discussion. Thank you to everyone that submitted questions in the Q&A as we've been going through. We had some pre-submitted as well, and we're quite short on time, so we can't cover all of these, but I will pick out a couple that we can address now. So the first one, so can I have a link, can I link deposition testimony to my chronology? This is a question I assume has come from one of our US audience, as it's specifically around depositions. Ariane, are you all right to pick this one up?
Yeah, sure. So as Nadia showed towards the end of her last portion, you can create notes from specific documents, but you can also do that on transcripts. So for example, you would just highlight the relevant text, and then you would just click add event, and then you could create the event, and that would go into your chronology. Yeah.
Fab. Thanks, Ariane. I'm going to select this one because there's quite a buzz around AI, so it seems pertinent to pick this one up. How can AI help with our case preparation? So great question. So at Opus 2, we really value the role of AI in case preparation. And with our cases solution, you can accelerate case analysis using AI to summarize documents, surface key facts, make data connections, and more. I would say, though, that it is essential to harness its power in the right places to ensure it's facilitating case preparation rather than impeding it. So if you were to use AI to automatically generate chronologies, there are some potential pitfalls that you should really be mindful of. So for example, if every loaded document contributes to the chronology without us first considering its relevance to the case strategy, it can just lead to additional work down the line because you'll need to start untangling and unpicking that chronology to focus on the pertinent events. So it's really about harnessing that power in the right place. We've received quite a few questions around some of the other features of Opus 2 cases. So we mentioned things like bundling and document review and so on. So we're not going to have time, unfortunately, to delve into each of these today. But what I would say is, if you're interested in Opus 2 cases on a whole, then as we've mentioned, book a demonstration session with us. We can understand your requirements in a little bit more detail and can give you a tailored demonstration of the solution. Unfortunately, that's all we've got time for. We do have some other questions. We will respond to each of you after this. We'll also share a recording to this webinar and our previous webinar on e-bundling. But we appreciate all your insightful questions and engagement through the session. Thank you once again for joining us, and we look forward to connecting with you all soon. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.